Arua City occupies a unique position in Uganda. It's not only a place, a main economic hub for the West Nile region, but then also a major commercial hub for that part of the DR Congo that borders with Uganda in that area, but then also South Sudan. However, the place has been heavily affected by the civil unrest in the two places, that's DR Congo and South Sudan. Today we take you to Arua to find out what is still driving economic optimism despite these realities.
Aware that we are slowly stabilizing from the COVID-19 challenge, many businesses indeed closed down for different reasons. We are aware that the government continued to make effort to see the economy stabilized. As the business community of this region, there is a lot that has faced the region. The challenges we are facing previously from South Sudan, and also the recent challenges of the rebels M23 in Congo. And then right now we have the Sudan war, which is ongoing. A number of these have added more, unpredictable business environment that is capable of putting some of businesses that have been across the border to higher risks. But then, as entrepreneurs, these are the common things we go through. Now, one important thing is now to begin to embrace some of the interventions the government is coming up with. One key thing is, it is now very important for you to become or be an active member of a body like Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, so that whatever business you're doing in another country, you can easily get a support when you have an additional challenge, especially when you're doing exports. It's advisable that the business people belong to a very recognized association of the business people, like the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and elsewhere you see how Kasita is backing up a number of their members. And so for this region, my voice as members of the private sector is join the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Arua City already has an active branch, like the Arua district and other districts. Join this, because that's the only way you will be able to have some recommendations to access other markets apart from the small markets we have. You also have the benefit of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And this you cannot move into if your products do not meet certain standards. And therefore, being informed, looking for information so that you are abreast with what is happening in which market is very, very important. And how do you get that? You get it through the mass media like this, special programs for business. You're able to follow this and you get information. The search for information should be more in our times, leave alone some of those other platforms on which do not have well-refined information. Social media has information, yes, but you have to go extra to refine the quality and the source of this information. Be informed. What is happening in which market? And that's going to be very important, especially for us, Africa, as the East African market is expanding. More countries are coming in. And therefore, it's time to begin to align ourselves to go in for export. But how do you go for exports if your goods you're taking to that market are inferior? And that tells us to do more on the issues of standards. And it's upon us as the private sector to take this. There is no more gamble. You either do the right thing or you do the right thing, because you can't take goods which do not meet standards to another market. So those are the things. And secondly, also, we will have to do more on our human resource development. The challenge has been that the institutions are not bringing into the market the workforce that measures up with the expectations of the business. The universities are producing business students, but when it comes to the world of work, we are seeing there is disparity. They are not able to measure to what the real business world requires. That is, when you go deeper, you find Uganda is one of those countries with one of the least human capital development index. And that means most of us, we perform far below what we are capable of doing compared to other East African countries. So we expect from the universities to produce and bring in some new courses that can make the graduates real relevant to the market situation. We don't just, as private sector, put our money, you come and retrain a staff you're bringing in. That is very expensive. So these are the things we should be working on. As a private or business person, you must be able to invest in your staff so that you build their capacity. This together, perhaps the last thing now, we are looking forward to a time when we have credit facilities with very low interest. For Uganda, this has not been forthcoming, but we appreciate some of the interventions that the government brought in. There was the COVID relief fund which came in, though its absorption had some imbalance based on regional setups. We had the agriculture credit facility, which was moved through the commercial banks. But again, also for a region like West Nile, we have not seen the fair absorption of this money. The banks have continued to hold this money, but the way to connect the private sector to absorb this money and make business out of it has not been matching. And so we think it's time that the government does more than just bringing in a facility, but putting in money also to make awareness to the private sector to access this facility. Less than that, these billions of money remains with the commercial banks, and some of the conditions for accessing them are very rigid. A talk and a table talk and discussion will be very, very important. Less than this, we still have challenges on our argument that our economy is private sector driven. And I think that gap has to be connected. There must be a continuous engagement of the private sector.